Have you ever heard of the rule of 7? It's a rule in marketing that says a customer has to see a product advertised at least 7 times before they actually buy it. And I guess that's true because I downloaded Raid Shadow Legends and I've been playing it for a few months. And I have some thoughts on it. I want to be clear this video is not sponsored. This is my honest take on the game. Also, M doesn't play the game, so it's just gonna be me this time around. With that being said, my name is Jay Tanner, and today I wanted to talk about Raid Shadow Legends, a mobile game that's been practically inescapable on YouTube, thanks to them sponsoring many creators. And I do appreciate them supporting YouTube creators, even if their ads can be annoying. But with that being said, let's take a look at Raid Shadow Legends. Raid is a free-to-play, pay-to-win collectathon. There are over 400 champions for you to collect, which they bill as a good thing, but it makes it very difficult to get specific champions that you actually want, and quite a few of them aren't really viable in the game. You mainly get champions through things called shards. These are basically loot boxes, and it's all based on chance. So it's possible you'll use all your shards and come away with nothing, or get something really good. So it basically comes down to your feeling on loot boxes. The packs in this game can be pretty expensive, though I'm free to play and I personally don't think a lot of these packs are worth it. There are other ways to get champions, including exclusive champions, but the thing is they automatically get added to the pool, so there's a chance that you might end up pulling it. A slim chance, but still a chance. For example, there was something called the Battle Pass. This was an exclusive event that offered different price points depending on the package you got, and the final reward was a legendary champion called Whirlim Frost King, which I just happened to pool, so I ended up getting the prize even though I didn't actually buy the pass. But again, it all comes down to luck. You can also get champions through mission drops, and some of them are pretty good, and sometimes the events will give out champions, but most of the time it's through shards, so it's less like Pokemon and more like gambling. However, once you get a champion, you can't just use them right away. You have to level them up, rank them up, get them the best gear, level up the gear, level up their skills, ascend them, and also get all their masteries. But this is mostly achieved through gameplay. This game is a huge collectathon. You're gonna be grinding for resources a lot. First there's a campaign, which is the best place to get experience to level up your champions. You can get gear too, but the best gear is from the dungeons. The combat is turn-based, and it can be performed manually or put on auto. The auto is useful if you want to just leave it in the background while you're doing other things, like editing YouTube videos. But it doesn't offer very compelling gameplay. Also, the AI doesn't always make good decisions. Then there are dungeons that offer different kind of loot. Some dungeons offer specific gear, while others offer resources you can put into your champions to make them stronger. And some dungeons are only available on certain days. On top of that, you only have a limited amount of energy, but you can always go to the shop to get more. Anyway, once you've leveled up your champions and got the resources you want, you can go to the Tavern to rank them up. The champions come between 1 and 5 stars, but they can all be ranked up to 6 stars. And you do that by sacrificing weaker champions. You can also give them chickens, but either way, this part's kind of weird when you think about it. At least in my opinion. The champions that the player intends to sacrifice have even been dubbed food by the community. And this is usually the fate of the lower starred or mission drop champions. But cannibalism isn't the only thing you can do in the Tavern. You can also level up their other attributes, including increasing their levels through more cannibalism, among other things like giving them potions to make their gold stars purple, or increase their skills with books. These are some of the rarest items in the game. After that, you can go to your champions menu to equip gear and masteries on them. There's a lot when it comes to gear. They come between 1 and 6 stars, and have many different attributes and stats, so you're gonna be grinding a long time to get specific pieces that you want. And at the beginning of the game, you're stuck using whatever you can get your hands on. But probably one of the worst aspects of the game is that you can't just unequipped gear. You have to either destroy it or spend in-game currency to remove it. So gear can end up being a real money pit. It's not just removing the pieces, but also leveling them up. The higher level a piece is, the more silver it takes to level it, and it's more likely going to fail than succeed. So that's an unfortunate game mechanic. I don't know if it's supposed to be some kind of incentive, but I doubt it since you have limited options at the start of the game, so it just seems like a bother. Last but not least, there are masteries. These are extra abilities you can unlock for your characters, like increased stats or more advantages in the field, and they have a specific dungeon tied to them, so that pretty much covers all the ways you can make your champions stronger. But what about the champions themselves? They're actually the reason why I was interested in this game. I thought they looked cool, and some of these designs are really interesting. There are currently 13 factions that divide all the characters. They're going to eventually add more, but that's just going to add more characters characters to the pool and make it even harder to get specific ones you want, but I digress. But there are a lot of interesting designs and lore for these characters, like the Sacred Order are based off of Crusaders and the Banner Lords are Knights. Fire Knight looks really imposing and menacing, and his shield has eyeballs on them. That was a nice touch. This happens to be my least favorite dungeon, but I still think he looks cool. And there are a lot of other designs that I really like. Aethel was my starter, and she's probably one of my favorites. She reminds me of Joan of Arc, and there are a lot of cool references in the game. Like Manaya looks like she was inspired by Snow White, but her backstory has a lot of elements from Beauty and the Beast. And you can see that with her partner character too, who has roses incorporated into his design. And there's a lot of interesting lore here too, like with the world of Teleria and how these individual characters navigated it. Just look at how much Whirlin Frostking has to his backstory, seeing how he went from a good guy to a villain. That being said, I don't think much of this is incorporated well in the game. Most of the lore comes from these backstories, so it's pretty much all telling instead of showing. There is a story mode, but it's not very fleshed out, and it's purposely made general so you can use whatever characters, and there's very little world building beyond that, so most of the potential these characters have goes wasted. And while the designs are pretty cool, they also reuse assets a lot. Some characters are just recolors of existing characters. Sometimes they're right next to each other in the index, so it's really distracting. Sometimes this is incorporated into their backstories, like calling Towering Titan and Cagebreaker twins, but most of the time it just comes off as lazy. So while I do like the designs and references for a lot of these characters, there are still a lot of shortcuts that are a bit disappointing. I don't really think the game needs over 400 characters, and it'd be cool if they focused a little more on the writing and RPG elements. Plus the gameplay can be repetitive and there's so much grinding. So in the end, there are a lot of elements that I do like, but there are also a lot of things that hold the game back. So yeah, that's my honest opinion. What do you think, Em? You don't play this game. I think the memes are fun, so at least we got that. Yeah, they're pretty funny. Anything else you'd like to say? No? Okay then. Well, this was a different video, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back to our usual content. We just had some issues this week, so we wanted to try something different. But thanks for watching, I appreciate it. Are you guys sick of seeing Raid Shadow Legends everywhere? Or do you like the memes? Regardless, I'd love to hear from you. If you want to support this channel, you can leave a like and subscribe. I'll also leave links to our GoFundMe and Buy Me Coffee. Thanks again, and we'll see you all next time. Bye for now.